Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I'll bring to you a Pyramid Head add-on review discussion, theorycraft, yada yada yada. I don't know what to call this. I was just thinking about how we all say how bad Pyramid Head's add-ons are, which they are. They could be better, but I don't think I've seen enough on how they could be better. I'm not a fan of just ragging on something without talking about how it could be better. So I'm going to go through these, and this is going to be a free pass for behavior. If you look at this video and take in these suggestions, I think a lot of people would be happy. And hey, I guess you don't have to charge me, but if you slide me some Auric sales or whatever, I'd appreciate that. Um, and if they don't see this, or they do see it and don't implement anything, they have the pass of, hey, we didn't see that small YouTuber's video. So, hey, that's that. But with that, let's get into it. I'm going to start with the Browns. Spoiler, I think all the Browns are okay for what they do, right? Increase the range, duration of the trails and the map by 10 seconds, recharge rate, and maximum duration, which also technically functions as recharge rate thanks to the math, right? They're all fine. I don't think the Browns really need to be touched, but what I will say is that the values of something like Blackstrap, I want to say it could go up to 1, and then this to 2, and then the other to 3. I want to say that, but I'm not a Pyramid Head main, so I can't tell you if that's game breaking, if I'll be honest. I have reps on Pyramid Head, but no extensive playtime on him. So, yeah, but that's the Browns. And we all like the range, so wouldn't change that. Same with the duration. It's fine as it is. But this one is the one that the first, or these two I should say, are my first problem with Pyramid Head's add-ons. Killer Instinct is an outdated mechanic. Let's be honest, it's not great. Increase the duration of Killer Instinct when triggered by Rights of Judgment by 0.5 seconds. This isn't pleasant on the eyes, unless you are playing Spirit, where you can't see anything but the Killer Instinct, right? Or maybe Dredge, where again you're coming out of the locker and you just hear it. But a lot of the time, it isn't useful for this, right? Like you hear the heartbeat for the Killer Instinct across the map, and you go, oh, cool. That lasting longer doesn't help, especially when it's only by 0.5 seconds. And if it's in chase, that just throws you off on where to take the shot. Right, so let's be honest, the M2 just the aiming gets thrown off with Killer Instinct. So I propose that you add aura reading, or reveal location on top of it, or replace it. One of the two, right? I think that if you make it so that Killer Instinct, or rather when somebody accrues torment by going through Rights of Judgment, I think it would be okay to make it so that, and then their aura is revealed to you for X amount of time. That makes it so that there's counterplay from the survivor side because they're already using things like off the record and distortion. But also it gives you time. It makes it feel like you don't have to use I'm all ears. It makes it so that, quite frankly, you can use the information. The problem that I have, if I'm just going in circles, is that you don't use Killer Instinct information one way or another. It just gives you a general idea of if somebody crossed one of your things across the map or not, or in your face, right? Then we go to recharge rate, which is okay, and duration of trails. Admittedly, this is my second take of this video because I went on for longer than I thought I would. But I'll say this: I think that duration of trails left can either be something different because you're going to override your own trails, taking shots with the M2 and dragging that, anywho, or bump the numbers up, right? Because if this goes to 30, this becomes 20, and the base one stays at 10. that's perfectly fine because, let's see, survivors know that you can just crouch through the trails to not accrue torment on yourself. And if you're constantly in chase, it's not like somebody's going to not step on the trails right in your face if you've played it that way, right? Them not lasting 30 seconds longer doesn't do anything for you. And lastly, like I said, if they just linger around the map for 30 more seconds and you're already overriding, it'll be fine. Then we go to, again, recharge rate, maximum duration of it, and the killer instinct I've talked about, just change that together. Again, duration of the power itself and recharging it faster are fine. In range, I know this might seem insane, but if you make that 2 and keep this as 1, I don't know if that extra half a meter is game breaking. I think, well, it travels in a wave, right? So, that's just more length that you can possibly hit, but that's also the thing about the M2 is that it goes in a wave, so there's time to react to it. So I think bumping that up to 2 actually might still be fair. I can understand hesitation to do so, but upon thinking about it for the second time, I think making it 2 will be okay. Don't nerf it behavior in typical behavior fashion when something is the only thing that's good about a character and you nerf it to the ground and then there's nothing good. Do not do that. If you are seeing this behavior, do not do that. I know it's tempting to ruin everything. Don't do it. Then we go to the purples, in which I feel like this, instead of the killer instinct aura that I proposed here, or I take that back. Make it so that anybody with torment on them reveals their aura for X amount of time every so often. Kind of like X Face the Darkness. Spoiler, that's kind of what I had an idea for the Eerie, but I'll keep that for the Eerie in a different way. I think if you make it so that as long as someone is tormented, they reveal their aura every now and again in a Face the Darkness type of style, that would be really cool. That'd be really neat. And you go, well, that could be game breaking. He already is good at tunneling. Yes, but the reason he's good at tunneling is because you send somebody to a cage. They get uncaged, meaning that they weren't unhooked and they don't have anything to benefit from hook. They don't have BT, off the record, so on and so forth. Right? So you go over there and chase that person because you know where the uncage happened, because you get the sound, which you should. But if somebody is just tormented and they reveal themselves to you over time, that doesn't mean anything. It just means that you have tracking later and throughout to know where to go. So I think that'd be a fine buff. My idea for these 2 is the same as what's already on this. Make it so that as long as somebody is tormented, they are blinded and oblivious. Blind, I don't find to be that big of a detriment nowadays, if we're being honest. And oblivious can be really cool. Let's make it so that those silent and Silent Hill jokes, I've even done it myself, can just be through a purple. That'd be nice. Let's not act like it's easy to get tormented. I mean, it technically is easy, but it doesn't happen nearly as often, is what I'm trying to get at. So, make it so that both of these is that while somebody's tormented, they are blind and oblivious. And then this one. My idea for this is that you make it so that this is sloppy. Add mangled to this. That way, if somebody's tormented, you can hit them with the M2 and you get sloppy. That'd be pretty neat. Pretty simple for all of these. Then we come to this. I think, frankly, you can make the Skull Merchant's current state what this Eerie could be, if I'm being honest with you. Also, if you're looking at this and you're like specifically the Pyramid Head division at behavior, do me a favor, go yell at your Skull Merchant operating team for me and just be like, hey, Why does it take 2 seconds of standing in a drone? 3 seconds, sorry. Wait, don't talk about the 2. 3 seconds to stand in a drone to then lose it 2 seconds later after having to wait for it to activate if you've done that in the middle of a loop and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's stupid. So for Pyramid Head, also let's not play it too safe like I see the current design or balance team likes to do. You shouldn't have to stand somewhere 2 seconds to benefit as the bad guy, to lose it 2 seconds later. That's dumb. Let's just make it so that if you pass over your own trail, you gain undetectable, kind of like Nemesis zombies, for X amount of time. And then you go, but that's why you remove, like, monitoring of views being as good on Slinger. Because you can take a shot, That means that you've either done your job as Pyramid Head with this, and set up trails beforehand somewhere, to benefit from them, or people can hear the giant knife in the ground being dragged, which is there to let people know that something's coming up, and boom, you know, like, I think that's fine, right? I think that gives enough of a heads up on both sides. And now this, where I said that, well, currently it does when sending a survivor to a cage, everybody else with torment is revealed for 6 seconds. We can buff this. Like, this isn't good enough to require it. I give 2 ideas for this now, though. One idea I had is that you could make it kind of like Infectious. When sending somebody to a cage, anybody within 32 meters of you reveals their location, screams, yada yada, or for X amount of time. You go, but that's redundant with Infectious. Not quite. This is why. With Infectious, all it requires is you to put the person down. And then the person that has now screamed knows they need to start running. With this idea, it means that you've already committed to sending somebody to a cage. And in eerie quality, somebody has now know that they should start running. But that's not as fair. No, that's completely fair because you have spent an eerie to just garner information because somebody's close to you. Now, if you have both of them together, you have Infectious Fright at the person, so they know that they need to start running, and then with Cage of Torment, you just have another update on where they could be going. Right? Right. And then the other idea is that, like Aura for this, you just add Screaming. Because with Screaming, you can do things that interrupt, or Screaming will interrupt actions such as cleaning, totems, doing gens, yada yada, so on and so forth. If you add Screaming and keep this to Aura, I can understand how somebody be like, that's redundant and it's an eerie steal. I think this gives it more gameplay opportunity to see used, because right now, how likely do you have more than 2 people at a time tormented as Pyramid Head? It's not that often. So yeah, that's what I had for this. I'm not a Pyramid Head main. If you are, or just want to tell me I'm stupid, go for it, I guess. But I'd like to hear ideas on this, and if you're a behavior dev somehow seeing this, take it into consideration. Ball's in your court. Alright? Yeah. If you like this video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.